All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are in a good condition today. And for now, I would like to convey the material regarding global warming. And the title is Global Warming. Is there any future? The first one, the table of content, which is including climate change, and the second one, the effects over the past 10 years, and the third one, global average surface temperature, and then 2020 among the top 3 warmest years on record, and the last one is minimalizing global warming. All right, climate change. In early 2015, the United Nations sponsored IPCC declared in no uncertain terms the world is warming and that humans are mostly to blame. IPCC working group also reported for the first time that humans, through the greenhouse gases we spew into the atmosphere and the resulting climate change are behind the many of physical and biological changes that media accounts already associated with global warming. Climate change is being felt where people live and by many species, says geoscientist Michael Oppenheimer of Princeton University. And there's one of the famous quote from him, which is, "Some changes are making life harder to cope with for people and other species." And next, the effects for over past 10 years. The climate impacts most negative would fall hardest on poor developing countries and flora and fauna. That is, one of those lists expected in the next few decades will begin to decrease crop productivity at low latitudes, where dying will be concentrated. At the same time, disease and death from heat waves, floods, and drought would increase. Receding glaciers, early blooming trees, bleached corals, acid flowing oceans, killer heat waves, and butterflies retreating up mountainsides are likely to ultimately responses to the atmosphere's growing burden of greenhouse gases. Toward mid-century, up to 30% of species will be at increased risk of extinction. As we can see, the first one is about receding glaciers in the 1913 and then 2012. So there's close picture here. We can see that in the 19th century, the toll of the ice still loaded, but nowadays, almost all the ice and glaciers are receding. And then the corals become bleached. How? The first one, as we can see, there's a healthy coral. The healthy coral will have a colorful color in their body, which is coated with an algae-like substances known as etc. Corals depend on this reservoir. But then, since there's climate change, the coral become bleached. So you can see once the zooxanthellae has left, the coral turns white, leaving it vulnerable to starvation, disease, and death. And then global average surface temperature. As we can see in the picture, there's a data. Yearly surface temperature compared to 20th century average from 1880 until 2021. Blue bars indicate cooler than average years. Red bars here so warmer than average years. An OAA climate.gov graph based on data from the National Centers for Environmental Information. And the next one, 2020 among the top 3 warmest years on record. Earth's surface temperature each year from 19th century until 2020 compared to the 1981 until 2020 average based on temperature histories put together by 3 different research groups. First one by NOAA or NOAA, the red one, and the University of East Anglia, pink line, and NASA, orange line, all show Earth is warming. The latest multi data set comparison comes out with some in the bulletin of the American Meteorological Society's State of Climate reports. And then the next one, how we can minimize global warming. The first one is speak up, because by speak up, we can talk to our native, relative and then our family or even our friend that we must care and to protect our word. And then the second one, applying 3R, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. And the third one, alter your ways of transportation. Be sure and be wise when you choose transportation whenever you go. For example, decreasing the way you use um, self publication. Like individual publication. Instead, it would be better if you use public transportation. And then the fourth one, avoid wasting food. Five, manage your energy consumption, including water waste. And the sixth, the last one, become informed and educated others. Conclusion. From here, we can conclude our world is not okay. The world is warming and the humans are mostly to blame. The climate impacts most are negative, but fall hardest on the poor, developing countries, and flora and fauna. That is, on those less capable of adapting to change. However, we as human beings is not lack of thinking creatively. There are ways to at least minimize the impact, and one of them is by continually applying 3R: reduce, reuse, and recycle. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. I hope at least there are one, two, or many things that you can get from here. And don't forget to try to save our word. For example, by minimizing the way you use power. And there are some references that I use. The first one is climate.gov, and then NRDC from Woodley, and then the last one is the journal from Car RA. Thank you.